What's going on, guys? KW Stout, healthmindpower.com. In this video, I'm going to talk about 8 ways to deal with hunger and food cravings while dieting. So if you watched my video that I put out not too long ago about the number one thing that people don't tell you about dieting, which is how hungry you're going to feel all the time, then you might want to go watch that. But otherwise, if you've done some extensive dieting or if you've gotten really lean before, then you already know this. You already know how the daily struggle of food cravings, just basically trying to trick your brain or your brain, playing tricks on you, actually, I should say, trying to get you to eat food that you know is going to stop you from getting the results you want. Okay. Now, while the truth is, I'm not gonna sit here and tell you if you just do these things, you're never gonna feel hungry. Well, I mean, some days it might work out to where it's pretty manageable, but I'm not gonna guarantee that you will never feel hungry, because if you're dieting hard, if you're really trying to get lean, once you're around 10% and below, yeah, you're gonna feel hungry. That's just something you're gonna have to deal with. But there are ways to make it easier, and these are 8 of those ways. Okay, so number 1, add green veggies or just veggies with a lot of fiber, so I'm not talking about corn and potatoes. I'm talking about things like broccoli, spinach, bell peppers. These things have a lot of fiber and they're low in calories. Add these to every meal. So when I'm dieting, I like to have these with every meal because they're going to keep you feeling full a lot longer, and it's going to make your food digest slower. So the time from when you eat to when you feel hungry again, is going to be longer. And then you're also, same thing. You're going to stay full longer. Okay. So, and it's really easy to do. I mean, there's always ways to add these. So for example, with breakfast, with my eggs, I'll throw in bell peppers and spinach with my eggs. Okay. So that's an easy way. During the day, you can have salads. That's a really easy way to get a bunch of green veggies in. Or if you can just make broccoli on the side, or make asparagus, or I like to do this thing where I saute bell peppers and broccoli, then I throw in some meat, whatever I'm eating, chicken or beef or whatever, and then throw in some spinach, and that's a great low carb meal. It tastes really good and is actually surprisingly filling. The key is you can't be scared of your vegetables. Okay, I don't. It blows my mind. People put a portion of vegetables on their plate or when they're cooking, and it's like this. What is that? Come on, your veggies need to take up at least half of your plate, at least. I mean, it should be the bulk of the food on your plate, especially when you're dieting. Not just for the fact that it's going to help you stay full, but that's because this is where you get your micronutrients. This is about health. It's being jacked and tan is great, but it's not great if you're not healthy. So health is always number 1. The other thing is, you will notice that this doesn't happen. Of course, you won't notice this day 1, but over time, you'll notice that you get better results. You look better and you feel better when you eat more micronutrients. So, obviously, there's enough data out there to prove this, but that doesn't even really matter. Just try it for yourself. Try it for a week. Prove me wrong. So, the number 2 thing you can do is look for lower calorie substitutes to food cravings. So one thing I love is carbonated water. I'm not a pop drinker. I was once addicted to pop when I was a lot younger, and I stopped drinking it. I haven't drank pop on a regular basis since I was, early on in high school. But for a lot of people, that's a big one. In fact, for a lot of people who are really overweight, if you could just cut out the pop, that one thing would help you lose a lot of weight alone. But you get those sugar cravings, or you just get the cravings for when you're dieting, you just get these cravings for all these different treats and stuff that you normally wouldn't even want. And flavored carbonated water like LaCroix, I'm not sure if you guys have had those before, they are so good. It really is. It's really good. It's just carbonated water and natural fruit extracts. Okay, nothing else, no sugar, nothing, no calories, nothing. But it actually tastes kind of sweetened. So just the combination of the carbonated water and the flavoring is just enough to it has a nice flavor. Actually, it tastes like a snack. So other things are, instead of having cake and ice cream and cookies or whatever, insert whatever your sweet of choice is, you can go with something like a watermelon. So, for example, 1 pound of watermelon is 138 calories. Okay, that's not very much at all. I mean, surely you can fit that in your macros, no matter how strict your diet is, unless you're just absolutely zero carb. And it's pretty filling too. I mean, for a full pound, that's pretty filling. And the same thing with strawberries. I mean, strawberries are really low calorie. And if you eat a lot, if you were to eat, let's say 100 calories worth of strawberries, you would feel pretty full because, again, they have a lot of fiber in there too. So, just look for ways that you can substitute your cravings with something else, and then feel free to go all out on that thing. It's like stuff your face with strawberries. I mean, how have you ever heard of someone getting fat off strawberries? Okay, it doesn't happen. So, the third thing you can do is drink a gallon of water a day, at least a gallon of water a day. When you're dieting, me personally, I like to drink closer to 2 gallons a day when I'm dieting. Because usually when I'm dieting, then I'm doing more cardio, I'm working out more, I'm sweating a lot more, and then so not only do I just want the water to help me feel full and everything and all the obvious stuff, but I actually need more water a lot of times when I'm dieting because I'll be sweating a lot more. I like to sweat a lot more when I'm dieting. It just helps me lose fat way easier, way quicker. So I have a whole video and article and everything about how to drink a gallon of water a day, the easy way and everything. So I'll link that below, or you can go check it out. But look, it's pretty simple and straightforward. It's good for your health, and you might not even realize it, but you're probably chronically dehydrated if you're one of the 88% of Americans or so that are estimated to be chronically dehydrated. So anyways, I'll link a resource below for you to learn more about that. Another thing I like to do, and this is kind of controversial in the fitness world because, everyone's all about, nowadays it's all about whatever the science dorks tell you to believe. But I like branched chains when I'm dieting, personally. I have dieted with branched chains and I've dieted without them. And I can tell you I will never diet without them again, because whenever I dieted in the past, I would lose a lot of muscle. And whenever I dieted, or whenever I do diet down with BCAAs or branched chains, which just means branched chain amino acids, I retain way more muscle. And not only that, they taste really good. Okay, it's just it makes it easy to drink your gallon plus water a day, because I drink them all day. It makes it easy to kind of solve the issue of having a sweet craving, because it tastes sweet and it tastes really good, and it helps you hold on to more muscle. So it's a win-win. But if you don't want to get branched chains, I'm not sponsored by any supplement company. If you don't want them, hey, that's fine. No, makes no difference to me. Number 5 would be to fast during your busiest hours. So intermittent fasting is a kind of a trendy tool for fat loss now that a lot of people are doing. And the thing with intermittent fasting is that it still comes down to what you eat. So if you do intermittent fasting, but you're eating in a caloric surplus, you will still gain weight. Okay, so intermittent fasting is not some magical tool for fat loss. Intermittent fasting makes fat loss easier because it just optimizes your day. So for me personally, and this is how a lot of people are, so the people who tend to do well with intermittent fasting are the types of people who can go for hours on end without eating. So it actually makes it a lot easier, okay? Because whenever you eat more often, you're going to be hungry more often. So when you eat less often, you're hungry less often. So for me, it's like I'm pretty busy all throughout the day, so I can just easily fast for hours just because I'm so busy with my work that I'll just forget to eat, So that's why intermittent fasting works for me and works for a lot of other people. If you have that tendency to just get so busy with whatever it is you do throughout the day that you do forget about eating, then you can plan this in advance and just know that you're going to have a fasting window for X amount of time. And then that's another reason why I like branched chains, because I like the combination of intermittent fasting and branched chains. Now, I don't actually do intermittent fasting all the time. I don't do a full 16-hour fasting thing or whatever. I have done that in the past, but that's not what I do nowadays. I just, I might fast for like 4 to 6 hours. And the benefit of that is that all those hours are hours I'm not eating. So basically, if you're dieting, your calories are a lot lower. You only have so many calories you can eat throughout the day. It really sucks to be at like 7 p.m., 8 p.m. and you don't have hardly any calories left, because then you just feel miserable the rest of the night. So personally, I like to eat less while I'm busy, because it allows me to be more productive anyways with what I'm doing, and then I have more calories for later that night, so I don't lose my mind at the end of the day. So that to me works really well, and I know that works for a lot of people. And then for others, intermittent fasting is not going to be the answer. So it's something to test out for yourself. I would suggest trying it out. There are a lot of health benefits to fasting as well, so it's definitely worth checking out. Otherwise, if it's not for you, just move on, pick something different. So number 6, and this kind of goes into what I was just now saying, and this is to plan more meals around the times when you naturally get more cravings. So for me, my entire life, no matter how, whatever I've had going on when I was in school or college, if I was working, if I wasn't working, if I was working out, if I wasn't working out, whatever, I've always had way more of an appetite at night than I did in the mornings. In fact, when I was younger, all throughout high school, I never really had breakfast that much. And that's one of the reasons why I struggled to gain muscle in high school, is because I wasn't taking advantage of all the hours throughout the day of just eating food all day. And so for me, I like to schedule most of my food later in the day. But nowadays I have my biggest meal post-workout, which happens to be in the morning, because I train first thing in the morning. I'll have my biggest meal post-workout, and then I might it's just not always. Sometimes depends if I'm dieting or whatever, or it could just be the schedule. I'll fast from then until evening, and then have maybe 1 to 3 meals from there, depending on how big the meal is and my calories and all that kind of stuff. So if you have a time when you're naturally going to be more hungry, instead of trying to fight it, why not just change things around to make it easier on yourself? Okay, now if you just have cravings all the time, there's probably something else going on. Okay, so that's not going to do it. But there are a lot of people I know who have a higher appetite in the morning or a higher appetite in the evening. I rarely see it where there's just only so really. It's not that many people who just wake up and from sun up to sundown are just constantly hungry. Okay, that's just it's not as common. So this right here, number 7, this is possibly why a lot of people feel hungry all the time. Okay, and that's because you snack all the time. So one of the worst things you can do for dieting is to snack, and especially to snack on carbs, because carbs will make you hungrier than you were. If you snack on a small carb meal or a small carb snack, it'll make you hungrier than you were before you had the snack. So what you want to do is, when you're dieting, if you're trying to prevent these food and these cravings, then don't ever snack. Only have good sized meals with a lot of vegetables to keep you full in between each meal. If you break down and have that snack, it's just going to make you even hungrier, and you're going to get, it's just those little extra calories, they really do add up, and it can just be a complete deal breaker. If you feel like having a snack, what I would suggest is just holding out a little bit longer, or depending on what time of day it is. If it's in the middle of the day and you're trying to get some snack in, and it's going to cut into your calories for the rest of the day, hold out a little bit longer and have a big meal, and add in even more veggies. Okay, add in a lot of veggies. You want to feel full. You want to feel really full after your meal. And if you are going to snack, then contrary to what they say about you can't eat past 8 p.m. and all this crap, I would say snack later in the day, closer to bedtime. That's what I do. And because the thing is that snacking is going to make you hungry again, so why go through all that whenever if you're going to be awake for hours? You know what I mean? I like to have snacks later in the night. That way, by the time I would get hungry again or not, I'm already asleep. Doesn't matter. So then finally, the last thing is to just embrace the hunger. And this is something that I've learned to do because, like I said in the very beginning, you know, you have to just eventually come to terms with the fact that you're going to feel hungry if you actually are losing fat. If you're not feeling hungry, most of the time you're not losing fat. Okay, your body is, it's not losing fat, actually, it's burning fat. Your body is burning fat as fuel. So while your body is burning fat as fuel, it's trying to tell you, hey, you know, we're getting into the reserves. Do you mind giving us some more energy right now? Of course you're going to feel hungry. There's just no way around it. So what I, you know, personally, as I have changed how I view it. So whenever I'm dieting and, you know, I'm really trying to get lean, say you're trying to go to below 10% body fat, then I get satisfaction from feeling hungry because I know it's working. And I know that by feeling hungry now, I'm getting the results quicker. The quicker I get the results, the quicker I can start eating more food again. Okay, so it's just one of those things where your attitude makes a huge difference. You know, is ultimately you will never fully eliminate the hunger cravings. So instead of, you know, making yourself miserable about it, why not just embrace it? And I don't want to say enjoy it, but just enjoy the fact that you know that that is a signal that you are getting results. Now, I'm not trying to tell you to starve yourself. I'm saying, you know, within a healthy, assuming you're eating a healthy amount of calories, feeling hungry is not a bad thing. Okay, it's not going to kill you. That's just the reason why, you know, the same thing goes with intermittent fasting. And intermittent fasting has all these health benefits. And people instinctively think that not eating for 12 hours or a day, like, it's so terrible for you. You know, oh my God, it's so terrible. Well, it's actually not. In fact, there are a lot of health benefits to it. So, to fasting, that is, not necessarily to feeling hungry. So, anyways, those are 8 ways to deal with food cravings while dieting. If you have any other things that you like to do, I'd love to hear them in the comments below. Let us know your tricks, your favorite go-to snacks, your favorite low-calorie snacks, whatever. And if you like the video, be sure to like the video and then subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next one.